Hello, hello, hello. It's been a while since I did a live directly from my office here. I'm usually walking outside and doing this, and at least the past few times, I ran into so many challenges here. So my topic today is compare. You might have heard this so many times. It's in a lot of philosophies, it's in religious books, and it's a statement that people who have kind of experienced life to some degree they have shared, and that is comparison is the thief of joy. And for many of us, that's true because a lot of times when we're comparing ourselves to others, it takes a lot away from us. And you don't know it, whether you're comparing yourself to your neighbor, to your family members, to your colleagues, to other businesses, and you can even be inspired by them, but you still might react negatively to this. Um, and I want to share the couple of problems around this. Like it's a good statement to say and say that, oh, don't compare yourself to others. But here's the problem. The first problem you're going to run into is that we're hardwired to compare ourselves to other people. How and why? Well, the first reason is that we're a social species. Our mind naturally compares ourselves to other people for a couple of reasons, but the main reason is actually survival. Is that the way we kind of make sense of our who we are and what we do and how we stand up to the social setting is by the mind compares us to other people around us. How am I doing? What am I falling behind on? And there's competition that comes into that process. This is a natural hardwired thing into our DNA. I don't think that can be changed. And anybody who says that can be changed is lying to you. But here's what you can do. Here's the power that you have. As human beings, we have a conscious part to us where not all of our animalistic drives are we need to act on or have to act on. This is why when you look at human beings, we can do a lot of incredible things. We can put a pause on short-term payoff for long-term gain. For example, we can fast. There are a lot of religions have fasting in them. We can sustain pain in martial arts and all sorts of practices. We can change our perception of pain. We can put a pause on getting the reward short term so we can get a bigger reward later. But that requires a lot of discipline and work on your mind. Our nature is to compare, but what's the next level? And here's another reason, and I want to give you the conscious reason, and then what would be the practice for you to understand how you can control this better, or you can train your mind to not react to that biological instinct that we have to compare ourselves to others that take our joy away. Um, Here's what happens. So one of the things that I'm really privileged and blessed to have, and in the meantime, it's a big responsibility and it can take a heavy toll on me at times, is I've spent the past decades hearing all sorts of things from hundreds of thousands of people that I've worked with. Hundreds on a one-on-one and a one-on-one level, but when you add the group to it, it's thousands of people that I've worked with over the course of the past decade as a coach. I'm a certified high performance coach. I'm a business coach, and I'm trained in all sorts of different modalities around emotions, relationships, and everything else. So, and I help people at an individual level, family level, team level, organizational level, a lot of times. And I get to hear all sorts of stories, and that's one of the reasons that has helped me to be super grateful for my life. And when my mind tries to compare, I go back to what I know directly when I've heard stories of people's lives. And here's the other thing: most of the people that I work with are fairly well off. They're fairly successful or seemingly successful on the outside. They're trying to go to the next level. They're not people who are generally speaking, poor or struggling, or you wouldn't put them in that category at least on the surface level. But here's what I hear consistently. I consistently hear stories of complete disconnection within people's families. I hear stories of people being completely disconnected from themselves, being truly unhappy a lot of times, feeling restless, feeling not at peace, feeling angry, feeling frustrated, feeling fearful. All those emotions are normal, but they are chronically affected by those things. In short term, they can be very normal and even necessary at times, but a lot of these people are chronically affected by this. Many of them are very well off. And if you were this person's neighbor or a friend or even a family, you wouldn't know what the hell's going on in their life. And the only reason I am privy to this information because as a coach, I'm their confidant, I get to go very deep, and that's the only way I get to help them. Now, I don't have any judgments around that, but on the surface, whenever you see people, they bring their best foot forward. They will, most people will not come in and say, I'm struggling with this, that, and the other. And that's one of the reasons why I've tried to be open with my clients and those that I work with, and at times with my posts here, is that we all struggle as human beings. I have challenges with my own thoughts and emotions. I have challenges in my relationships. I have challenges in running my business. I'm growing, doing all sorts of things. Just because I have a good life doesn't mean I don't have challenges. There are both sides to it. And so whenever my mind tries to compare to other people, because my mind has so much data around people's lives, it doesn't affect me that much. And in fact, it pushes me more towards gratitude, because I would rather not have a higher level of business success. So for example, I've worked with people who have had such a high level of business success, but then they have broken marriages, they have kids who are sick, they have health problems, things that they cannot change. And they would give every dollar they have to have any of those things. And they try to, but there's no way to work around that. And they're filled with regret. And when I hear that, I'm like, so what if I'm struggling in business at times? So what if I'm not growing fast enough? I can figure that out. I'm healthy, my family's healthy, we're good. And the other side of it is sometimes people are struck by these illnesses, by things that are completely outside of their control. And I look at them like, holy shit, my family's healthy. I need to be super grateful about that. And it's not even I have to be, it's like I really see how important it is to be grateful in the moment, because anything can change. Your health can dramatically change in a day. Something could happen to a loved one. Your business can crash within a few hours. If you're in, there are multi-billion-dollar businesses that have crashed within a few hours. You might have heard of banks that have gone bankrupt with billions of dollars. And that can happen. There are governments that get toppled. I come from a place where the government was completely toppled, and people who were generals and investors and business owners and high position professionals who completely lost everything. They put their clothes on, and they just had their clothes on and took their family, if they were lucky, and had to flee the country they were born in. They were from there. And so that regime changed within a few months or years, and it caught them by surprise. So that data really helps me understand to be grateful, super grateful for what I have. And I take the time to consciously remind myself of that as well. And now I know that you might not have access to that information, but take my word for it, at least at this point. And you can inquire a little bit more as you get closer to people. When you have the privilege, you will to know people a little bit deeper. And some people, maybe you do, some close friends to you, you'll see that almost everybody's struggling with something. And if you know enough about their life, you will say that, you know what, my problems are enough for me to handle. I don't need more problems. Because everybody's life, their success, their happiness, their good times, they come with the other side of it. This is why we have this concept of yin and yang. It comes with the contrast. Every progress comes with a challenge. Every good comes with the bad. That's just the nature of the world and universe we live in. Those are foundational principles of our life. And I've often said that I love my life and I'm super grateful for my life, but I can also see somebody replacing me and having my life and hating my life. My life is for me and I've designed it for me. That's the first problem, just reminding yourself consistently that you don't know most of the things about people's life, and what you see on the surface, especially in the world of social media, is not real. It's just their best foot forward. In the background, there's a lot that you don't know about the downsides of their life. When they're sitting with themselves, how much pain they're enduring, when they've lost a loved one, when their heart has been broken, when they've lost financially in a difficult position. You don't know anything about that stuff. When they're processing grief from their past that they don't know how to move through. So much is happening when they get a sudden family member who's going through a difficult period in terms of their health, and they feel like they have no control over anything. If you knew any of those things, you'd be like, you know what? I'm good with my life. I don't need their success. I need to create my version of my life. And here's where the second problem comes in. Most of us have no idea what our life is about, what we want, and we've based most of our life around, and we don't realize that it's subconscious. We've based most of our life around what generally works. And here's what our mind does. It scans our environment and looks for, oh, this person looks like he has his stuff put together. This group of people look like they have their stuff put together. This professional looks like they have their stuff put together. This family looks like they have their shit put together. And we will subconsciously copy the next person. And we'll dedicate our whole life towards a goal that was never ours. Or it will be a mix of, we were taught that this thing is going to make you happy, this thing is going to make you fulfilled. And generally the way it goes for many entrepreneurs and investors know this cliche of, hey, go to school, get a successful job, get promotions, get married, get the next big house, and get the white picket fence. And when you get there, and you're going to be great. And a lot of people have gotten there at in their 40s, 50s, 30s. And in the words of Alan Watts, they look back in their life and first they're like, yes, I'm there. But then at the same time, they get this weird sense of disappointment. And they look back as, this is it? This is what I worked for decades of my life? I thought there would be more. And the easy thing for them to do is they're going to look back and blame a bunch of people. They will blame their family, their society, their religion, their country. All sorts of things, but they won't take ownership that I never really thought about what truly mattered to me. And this is where I do a lot of work around your vision. What truly feels aligned with you in your core, in your heart, in your soul. And the only way you can understand that is if you explore that deeply. Most people don't. They don't realize that all the hard goals that they're working towards, those goals will mean nothing in about 10 years. Or in about 5 years. In fact, I work with enough people who have gone through a decade long of hard work and sweat and grind and all sorts of stuff in the process, sacrificing so many things that matter to them. And they get there and they'll be like, holy shit, I regret so many things. Had I known this, I would not have dedicated so much of my time to this thing that didn't matter to me. So your choice is to figure out what your path feels aligned with you, what your vision is, not somebody else's vision for your life. Usually, if you don't pick it, by default, you're picking your society, your culture, other people's vision for your life, and you're going to turn them into goals and work hard towards it. And about 10 years from now on, you're going to regret the path you went on. And this is why I do a lot of work with people to help them figure out their vision. And your vision comprises of a lot of things. It has a lot of things in them. It has the life that you want to create. And we check in with your system, with your emotions, with your body. Does that feel aligned with you? Your vision includes a higher version of you, an ideal version of you that you're becoming. It's not just about the things that you're going to have and create, but the person that you're becoming. It also includes how you're going to contribute in your family, in your community, and the world at large. It also includes why this is truly deeply important to you. And if every cell in your body, your soul, your whole being doesn't align towards there, then you don't know what the hell your vision is. I guarantee you're following goals that don't matter to you at all. And I know this because I've done this so many times. And I know this because I've worked with hundreds of people who have done this. And I don't know why you're listening to this and what got you to click on this or where you came from, but I do know that there are reasons for what comes in front of our face. And I don't think those are random. And if you're open to taking the next step towards that potential, towards figuring out what truly matters to you, then this is your chance. I'm going to put the link below for a free workshop that I'm doing. It's a 3-hour live workshop. I'm not charging you for this. There will be a chance to work with me further if you wanted to at the end of it, but you don't have to. It will be 3-hour workshop that will help you dive into what's holding you back from what matters to you and what is it that you were trying to create. And how can you be 100% sure that that's your path and not something else? And we're going to work through that. I'm going to walk you through a framework. I'm not going to tell you to be something or do something, but I'm going to walk you through and we're going to pull the answers out of your own being, your own soul. And by the end of the session, you're going to know at least the next step towards what is it that you want, and you can refine it on your own as you move forward. You don't even have to work with me after that, but this will be an opening for you. Listen, your life is short. You might be in your 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, maybe even 60s. You only have a few decades left. You've already spent about a quarter or half of your life doing the things that matter to other people, or having a lot of regrets. There's a reason why you're listening to this. There's a reason why you felt connected to what I said. This is the time to take charge. The next few decades are going to fly, just like the last few decades have flown by. It will feel like a blink of an eye. And this is a moment for you to decide whether or not you're going to dive deep, or you're just going to keep doing the shallow things that you've been doing. You're going to go back into the grind, go through the motions, and just create whatever you were creating before. And I'll leave that choice up to you. But I know this, over the past decade of creating the life that mattered to me, I've realized that the only way towards that is to have a vision for that life. And that starts with a workshop that I'm doing next week. So join me on Thursday, on August 22nd at 9 a.m. Eastern. Block out that time. Give yourself this gift. It's not just for yourself. It's for those that you serve as well, for your family, for your colleagues, for your team, for your friends who need to know what you're about. Not what you pretend to be, not the mask that shows up, but who you are deep down. And that is a hard thing to show up with, because our mind goes to comparison, as I talked about it in the beginning. And yes, it is the thief of joy, but you need to train your mind to work differently. And this is the next step for that. I'm excited to see you next week. Until then, hope you have an incredible day.